Julie Roys of the Roys Report continues to peddle her abusive book. If you remember Julie Roys, she wrote a book in 2017. Her book is called Redeeming the Feminine Soul. So this video, I'm going to share with you the history of what happened with her book, which ultimately resulted in her not being able to attend her own conference. She claims that she has done her best to remove the book from the internet, from her website. I'm going to show you that that's not true. And I'm also going to show you how apparently she doesn't actually want to, as far as I can tell, she's done little effort to stop the sales of her book that has hurt so many people. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel before we jump into it. Let me just say this, if you appreciate what I'm doing here, in the description of this video, the very first link is like this one just here. Click on that thing and it'll take you right to my Ko-Fi page. There you can support for as little as $3, or you can support greater amounts if you'd like to. You can also make a one-time gift there. And the advantage of being part of this Ko-Fi community is that you get all my YouTube videos before they drop here on YouTube without advertisements. So take advantage of that. Redeeming the Feminine Soul, God's Surprising Vision for Womanhood. Again, written in 2017. And we're going to go right through a timeline here. And here's a tweet from Julie Roys on April 25. Recently, I've been confronted for a story I share in my book, Redeeming the Feminine Soul. The critique has been very hard, but I realized I need to own some things publicly. Below is a link to my statement. This statement will also be linked in the description of this video. This statement from 2017, this statement from 2022 about her book was not an apology. This was her attempt to come out and say that she wrote her story about Sarah in a wrong way, and she had some regrets. This did not go over real well on the internet. April 27th, just 2 days after Julie Roys made her initial statement, by Julie Roys' own account in her book, she was the one with the power and trust. She violated boundaries. This woman here, Diane, is one of Julie Roys' guests on her show from time to time. They tweeted, it is always the responsibility of the person with power to maintain the integrity of a relationship, always. So Amy is pointing this out on Twitter. Julie Roys 2 days later says, a couple days ago, I posted the link to a statement on Twitter, and now I am posting it on Facebook. That's April 29th. April 29th, also this tweet. Julie Roys has posted her statement on Facebook. We look at behavior to see if someone has changed. We look at transparency and openness. The defensive posture, blocking and not posting it promptly this week was problematic for me. So Julie Roys took a lot of heat for this. She took a lot of heat for the book, what was written in the book, and she took a lot of heat for the way she responded initially. And then this tweet actually continues. And then on top of that, to host a conference on spiritual abuse when I know of and have spoken with survivors who have been treated horribly by Julie Roys, just so that she can get the big story. But there is a huge disconnect, and people need to understand what's going on. Following a timeline, after Julie Roys has begun to try to take her, or claims that she's taking her book down, and made all these statements, we have Seiko Woods giving a review on Amazon saying that the book is excellent. Let that sink in. 2 days after that, Julie Roys tweeted, "Thank you for your perspective, Amy." She's responding to a woman, Amy, who pointed out that your book is still being promoted on your website. Julie says, thank you for your perspective, Amy. We did miss one mention of the book on our website, which we've since removed. We are deciding how to proceed with the conference and will announce shortly. I've done all I can do to get the book pulled. It's been frustrating because I don't control that. We're going to talk about whether or not she can control the book being sold. So stay tuned. Shortly after that, Julia Royce tweeted, in a desire to be sensitive to the survivor community, I've made the difficult decision to step down from leading and speaking at the upcoming Restore conference. I pray that this decision brings healing because she has hurt many people. A letter I'm sending to those registered is in the link below. So this is a very, very serious situation. And Julie seems to have recognized it, or at least she was really pushed heavily to move in this direction, to actually not even attend her own conference. The reason why is because her conference reaches out to people who have been victims of abuse. And those victims of abuse did not feel comfortable in Julie's presence. Here's her statement. Again, this will be linked in the description of this video. Dear friends, I have a tough decision to share with you. The last couple of weeks, I've been wrestling with how to respond to a very painful controversy resulting from something I wrote in my book in 2017, Redeeming the Feminine Soul. I released a statement last week apologizing for the mistakes I've made, especially for assigning blame to someone who didn't deserve it and failing to understand the position of power I held. If you haven't seen that statement, I encourage you to read it. In a desire to be sensitive to the safety of the survivor community, it was not safe for Julie to attend. Why? Why is this worded that way? I reported, this is a video, you can watch this video if you'd like to. I reported on her stepping down, and then also Protestia did, and many people did. Here's one, church leaders. This was big news. Investigative reporter Julie Royce removes herself from her own conference after accusations of spiritual abuse. Here's why. Here's why this is so troubling for people who have been hurt. Her book actually is triggering people. People feel unsafe around her because she wrote this book. This is one of many, many troubling. You can read it. You can pause it. You can pause and read it. I'm going to tell you what's written here. Julia Royce was so obsessed with this teenager, as Julia Royce was in the position of quote unquote a youth pastor. She's in her 30s, and Sarah is a young youth group attendee that Julie really had taken to. She was obsessed, by her own admission, by her own explanation in her book. Julie was obsessed with Sarah. So much so, as you could stop and read here, at one point, Julie had a dream that she was lying in bed with her husband, and in her dream, she woke up in her dream to find Sarah laying in bed between her and her husband. She thought it was real, but it was a dream. That's one of the many stories that is very troubling in her book. Here's another one. She says in her book, I wasn't the only straight person who ever got sucked into her emotional vortex. And I thank God my relationship with Sarah never developed into anything physical. So she's glad it didn't turn into anything physical. Well, why would it? Perhaps it is because she was attracted to this young lady in a physical way. To this day, I am not even sure how to describe that relationship, but the experience made me suspect that all of the categories of attraction in our culture have been so skillfully created aren't nearly as cut and dry as everyone thinks. And then she continues. These are just two small quotes from the book. There are paragraphs and paragraphs that were very troubling, so much so that Julie could not attend her own conference. And she has claimed that she's removed everything from her website and done everything that she can. And here, you remember this tweet, right? Thank you for your perspective. This was May 5th of 2022, just over a year ago. Amy Smith pointed out 1 year later, this is April 22 of 2023. 1 year later, Julie Roys still hasn't removed the mention of her book from her website. As she said, she's done. It's still available for purchase. She violated a young girl's trust as her youth pastor then wrote private details about her life, furthering the abuse. What is the truth about Julie Roys in her website? This is her website. This is front and center on the homepage. This is her website. Front page of her website. Scroll right down and you can read about Julie Roys. And then center of the About Julie Roys is her promotion of her book. How much does Julie Roys care about the hurt that she has created? People are triggered by her presence because of what she wrote in her book. She claims to be an advocate and giving a voice for people who are abused. All the while, she's creating more victims. This is her website also. This is an article on her website promoting her book. This isn't the page, the home page. This is a different page. And on this page, she promotes her book. And look at that. You can order now. You can get 1/3 off the price of her book. We'll go to another page. Here's another page. Scroll down. These are two different pages. You can buy the book. Click right there, and I promise you it will take you, I'll demonstrate it. There you can go and buy it. Here's Julie Roys' Facebook page. Here's the video promoting Redeeming the Feminine Soul on her Facebook page. Here are some pictures from her Facebook page. Here's a post on Facebook promoting the book. This is from 2017, but it's on there. If you search Redeeming the Feminine Soul, you can find these things. How much effort has Julie Roys done to protect people from herself? Not much. I do not believe. Here are pictures from her, I don't know if it's books. Yeah, she's book signing, book release. People look at your pictures, even if they're old pictures. Julie posing with readers and with her book. Showing herself signing books. This is her Facebook page, I do believe. I mean, it's so many places. I don't even remember where I took some of these screenshots. Under events, her book is promoted still. This is on her Facebook page, an interview promoting her book. This is her YouTube page, her YouTube channel, right there. You can click right there and order her book. She's promoting the book on YouTube. This is her YouTube page. There's a video of her, that video there, and 2 videos on her page, on YouTube, promoting the book. This is her Instagram account. An interview promoting her book. Pictures promoting her book. The second interview, bottom left corner. That's one of the two interviews that I just showed you. You can go to Spotify, and for $20, you can get her book on audio. Narrated by Julie Roys and MacArthur. Here's why this is such a problem. People are still buying her book. This is from one place that it's being sold online. Goodreads. This is a new review. This is this year. I really appreciate Roy's willingness to tackle the hard questions of the Bible surrounding the role of women in the church. I'll get to the point here about all these different areas. Julia Roy's claims she can't control where the book is being sold. Book reviews. Anthony reviews Julia Roy's book. Has Julie contacted people who wrote positive things and asked them to take these down? Here's part of my point. If you go to, if Julie truly cannot control the publisher, Thomas Nelson Publishers, what could she do? Well, she could make a review, couldn't she? She could make a review. She could review her own book and beg people, please, don't buy my book. My book is harming people. Do not buy my book. You can also, on a lot of these places, on Amazon, I know you can submit a video. Why doesn't she submit a video with her own review of her book saying, do not buy my book. My book is harming people. My book continues to abuse people and make people feel unsafe. Why doesn't she go and make comments like that to ensure that she won't create any more victims? It's on Logos. It's all over the internet, folks. It's on Audible. Here's Thomas Nelson Publishing, and here is her video promoting her book.
In my 20s, I felt a call.
Okay, it's there. Why doesn't she add a comment? Please don't buy this book. It's bad. I don't want you to buy my book. I'm sorry I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but this book, according to her and the people in her community, it is so egregious that she wasn't even able to attend her own conference because people didn't feel safe around her. This is her website, right? Where are all the articles of her? There's nothing on her website that says, don't buy my book. She could make a post and put it front and center. Every time you go on her website, this right here could say, don't buy my book. I apologize for my book. I'm begging Thomas Nelson to not sell my book. And where are the articles? Where are the articles of her rebuking and calling for Thomas Nelson to stop selling her book? It should be front and center. It's actually nowhere to be found. It's not on her website. When you have a YouTube channel, you can make it so that a video will be prominent front and center. Any video. You could decide when you press home, she could make this video right here a video of herself saying, don't buy my book. She could put right in here, instead of the Roy's Report as a media outlet dedicated to reporting the truth. Instead of promoting yourself, Julie, why don't you think about the people that you continue to hurt and harm? The people who are buying your book still. and giving grand reviews, spreading it even further. This is her. I'm just re-showing you her Facebook stuff. There is no mention of her of anything saying, "Do not buy my book." Nothing. However, if you poke around a little bit, you can find a promotion for her book. On Twitter, she could do the same thing. Please don't buy my book. Please tell people not to buy my book. I have no idea if she's still making money off it. I would assume she is, but I don't know for sure. I even found on eBay that it's sold out and you have to wait a couple weeks on eBay to get her book. Julia Royce clearly continues to peddle her book. She promotes it on her website. She promotes it. She has left promotions for it everywhere. And she does not seem to be putting forth much effort, if any, to protect the victims, the people who are hurt by the idea of what she wrote in her book, that she, as a youth pastor, had inappropriate affections. According to her own book, she had inappropriate affections and interest in a young lady who was a lesbian. You've been watching the BTWN News. Thank you. Share this video if you're concerned, and leave your comments below. Appreciate it. My prayer is that God would bless each and every one of you. Take care.